Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is January 25th, 2025, and Hansi Flick has called up a promising young player from the academy to train with the first team. Also, multiple reports surfaced today that Andreas Christensen is looking to leave during the winter transfer market. And finally, Ronald Araujo's release clause has been leaked. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and we'll begin this video with the news that the team continued its preparation today ahead of tomorrow's match against Valencia in La Liga, and given Dani Olmo's absence because of his injury where he has been ruled out from tomorrow's match, Hansi Flick called up Quim Junyent to first team training. If you don't know who Quim Junyent is, he's a 17-year-old versatile midfielder. He's one of the most promising midfielders currently in the academy. Junyent is part of the Juvenil A setup or the under-19 setup. He has featured in some matches for Barca Athletic, and he did participate in the preseason. So Hansi Flick has been able to see Quim Junyent up close, and today he called him up to first team training. Now, Quim Junyent has yet to feature in the first team's roster, so who knows, maybe tomorrow could be the first day that we'll see Quim Junyent be included as part of the squad list in La Liga. Now, speaking of tomorrow's match, of course, Hansi Flick did participate in the pre-match press conference. I'm not going to cover the entire press conference, but I do want to highlight three topics that he touched on. The first one is in regards to Getafe, because Hansi Flick was asked about, that draw against Getafe 1-1, and this is what Flick had to say. In Getafe, it was our fault. We didn't win. We have to improve our concentration from the start to the end of the match. That's what I want. So I really like this statement, and the reason why I decided to highlight it because, it goes in line with what I've always said about Flick, and that's that he does not look for excuses. He does not try to excuse his failures in external factors. Yes, he could have touched on the whole penalty kick with Koundé, which we all knew it was a penalty kick. It should have been called. But instead, he decides to look inward and say, look, the reason why we lost, well, we didn't lose, we drew, but, it was because, or I guess we lost points, it was because it was our fault. Because at the end of the day, it's the team that didn't convert its chances. It's the team that allowed Getafe to score a goal in their only attack. So I like how Flick is always self-critical, is always looking for things to improve rather than just say, someone else's fault, so I'm not even going to worry about it. Now, the next thing that I want to highlight is when Hansi Flick was asked about Pau Victor. Is he going to be getting some minutes or not? And this is what Flick had to say. He played in Barca B and worked very well in preseason, but it's not easy to give the minutes that each player requires. There is a plan, but it's not possible. He will have his chances. So Flick, of course, highlighting the fact that Pau Victor was just in Barca Athletic last season. So this is his first full season in first division. Going from third to first division is always a big leap. So it's going to take him some time to keep growing and developing. And saying that there is a plan in place and that Pau Victor will eventually get his chance. And I think what we could deduce from these statements is I think Flick likes Pau Victor. He sees potential in him. But I think he doesn't see him as quite ready yet to be starting or quite ready yet to be getting more minutes. Definitely not quite ready yet to be starting ahead of the players that are currently on the roster or that have currently been starting ahead of him, like, of course, Robert Lewandowski or even Ferran Torres himself. So I think Flick likes Pau Victor, but he doesn't think he's ready yet. So I think it's a matter of time before we can start seeing Pau Victor getting more minutes, because probably Flick is trying to prepare him and groom him to where he is capable of competing at the highest level. Now, the last thing I will cover about Hansi Flick is in regards to Andreas Christensen, because the German coach was asked whether the Danish center back will play tomorrow, and this is what Flick had to say. Naturally, he spoke to Andreas. He came back from a serious injury and is doing very well in training. Although there are players ahead of him, we know his quality and we'll see what happens. So, of course, Flick highlighting the fact that Christensen just came back from injury, so he's not he's still recovering his form, his competitive edge. He's not ready yet to start. But of course, Flick very aware of the quality of the Danish center back and saying, there are other players ahead of him like Cuarsi and Araujo, but again, he's still aware of the quality of Christensen. Now, speaking of Christensen, there were multiple reports today circulating stating that Christensen is looking to leave during the winter transfer market. And of course, I touch on this because just like I like to bring you reports that I think are true, I also like to cover on reports that I think are false, because it's important to touch on that, because otherwise people just go about their day believing them, but there's no truth to those reports. Barcelona have confirmed that they are not looking to offload Andreas Christensen during this winter transfer market. Christensen is not looking to leave during this winter transfer market. He will be staying in Barcelona at least until the summer. Now, the summer could be a different situation. He could think about leaving. He might not. But as of today, January 25th, Christensen is not looking to leave during the winter, nor is Barcelona looking to offload him. And of course, that makes sense. Why would Christensen look to leave now? He just came back from injury. He doesn't even know if he's going to feature or not under Flick. He doesn't even know if he's going to work out under Flick or not. The more common sense to do is stay until the end of the season, see how he fares under Flick, see if he gets minutes and opportunities, and then decide in the summer whether to continue or go somewhere else. So no truth to the reports that Christensen is leaving during the summer. And of course, speaking of center backs, we do have to talk about the big bombshell today, which is Ronald Araujo's release clause. But before we talk about that, I would like to remind you to please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kits, Kit Bag, or Fanatics. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are down below in the description. You click on them, you'd be supporting this channel, but you'd also get access to some pretty cool deals and offers. All right, let's get back to the news, because today, ladies and gentlemen, Mateo Moreto revealed what Ronald Araujo's release clause, and it's 65 million euros, which is set to increase. But let's dive in more about this current release clause. Now, as you know, it all started with Ronald Araujo noticing that, Iñigo Martinez and Pau Cuarsi had cemented themselves as the two starting center backs. And then with fear of not getting minutes, and after, letting Barcelona wait for over a year to respond to his contract renewal, the player decided to leave, reaching an agreement with Juventus to join him, even having a personal conversation with Thiago Motta, Juventus's coach. And he asked the club to please, he wanted to leave and to listen to the offers, which Barcelona did. But of course, the offers were way too low. Juventus offering 35 million euros, which there was no way in hell Barcelona were going to accept that. And with the injury of Iñigo Martinez, Deco immediately met with Araujo, convincing the player to stay. And after that, Deco met with Araujo's agents, where they agreed to extend the contract of the Uruguayan defender until 2031. And we knew that two of the demands of Ronald Araujo was A, to increase his salary, and B, to lower his release clause to give him a chance to leave in the future if he decides to. Now, the club had not revealed and has not revealed till today what the release clause stands at. But today, Mateo Moreto confirming that Ronald Araujo's clause is 65 million euros, and after for this summer, and after that it does increase until 80 million euros. So if clubs want to sign Araujo during this summer, they can do it for 65. Next summer it'll go up to 80 million euros. Now, later today, Miguel Rio released a report stating that wasn't true, that the release clause is not 65 million, it's 300 million euros. And of course, until the club confirms one or the other, we can't say for sure. But I will say this: Mateo Moreto is one of the most credible sources in the transfer market. He's up there with the likes of Fabrizio Romano. So if Moreto says that Araujo's release clause is 65 million euros, I'm more inclined to believe Mateo Moreto, with all due respect to Miguel Rio. Of course, I'm not here saying that, one is a liar or the other one is not. I'm just saying Moreto usually has more credible information. For all we know, Miguel Rio could also be, telling, he could be the right one, but we cannot tell until Barcelona confirm. So I'm more inclined to believe Mateo Moreto. And, if that is the case, that confirms what I talked about in yesterday's podcast, which is that I think Araujo is still not sure about staying in Barcelona. I think he probably wants to wait until the end of the season, see if he continues to get minutes, see if he fits under Flick's system, and more importantly, sees what happens once Iñigo comes back. Because I'm 100% sure that the only reason Araujo's starting now is because Iñigo's injured. But when Iñigo comes back, we're going to have a different story. So I think Araujo is just waiting until the end of the season to see what happens, and he can very well still leave during the summer. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. We'll be uploading another video after this one, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Peace, Barca.